Hello and welcome. As you may have noticed, in recent weeks I have been experimenting a lot with the type of content I post on my channel and the way in which it is recorded. Well, having tried out my current schedule for the last 6 weeks or so, I have come to the conclusion that although I enjoy making this type of content, it takes a lot more time to make than I expected and has left me no time to make and experiment with more long form projects, which aside from regular weekly content was one of my goals. So before we get into the Recon Cast topic, there will be some housekeeping to discuss, so please bear with me. What follows is the new schedule and explanation of what content I will be going forward with from here onwards to leave me time to try out some different more long form projects. So, up first, the Recon Cast is a regular topic based podcast show featuring myself and one if not both of my sisters, Louise and Vanessa, and within which we are going to discuss all sorts of things from games, movies, TV, popular culture to the sort of silly stuff you might talk about with your mates, like zombies or time travel and such shenanigans. This will now usually be recorded once a month and split up into 3 topics and a compilation. So 4 separate videos that will be posted the same day once a week throughout each month. The next type of videos will be almost quiz type videos. For example, the first season will be individual would you rather quiz topics based on a similar theme to our podcast, and will also have a similar schedule with 4 videos being recorded a month and posted usually each week. I say usually as if you do the math, then 4 vids a month equals 48 videos a year, so not technically 1 a week, and thus 4 times a year there will be a weekly break from the usual schedule. The gaming news recap videos I post on Saturdays will be for the most part staying the same, and I will also be doing several full playthroughs from start to finish of certain games throughout the year, and of course the odd playthrough of new games when they come out, and also sometimes there will be top 10 or rant videos, but they will be recorded as and when I can find the time, and hopefully someday some sort of long form fanfiction-esque videos. So that's pretty much everything covered. If that sounds like your sort of thing, then watch this space. Anywho, without any further ado, let's do it to it. Topic 1. What games were you looking forward to that disappointed you the most and ended up being nothing like you'd hoped them to be? So, I'll start if people want. I've got a couple of ideas of recent times. There's probably a bunch that I can't think of, like, as of this moment. Because way back when, memory's not what it used to be. But in recent times, I would say first up, Final Fantasy 13. That
I've
game
got that
for
on
me,
my list.
yeah, is such it was such a letdown for me. Not that it was good in certain ways.
It was
as
not
good as
bad,
other ways.
but
Like,
it was not
the battle,
what it said on the tin.
Yeah, it's not what I expected or hoped it to be. And then we go into the realms of expectations again, though, whether you set your expectations too high. But it had good things, like the battle system was good, the graphics were good, the story was like wishy-washy, but it was okay. But the major problem for me was just how it was just completely on rails. And about halfway through, I just got fucking bored of it. It was like I was just,
you literally had to get something crazy like 30 odd hours in before you got a bit of freedom.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that I heard about. It's like people saying like, oh, you have to wait. When you get cleared this certain section 30 or 40 hours in, the game gets good. Okay, you shouldn't have to wait 30 or 40 hours for a game to get good. Okay, if it's more bad than it is good, then it's not a good game. Do you know what I'm saying?
When you did also get down to I forget the names, the proper planet, because you're on a satellite in it, aren't you? But when you get down to the proper planet,
something.
The what?
Is it the Lassie or something? What is that?
No, that's the name of the creatures.
Oh, right, okay.
Or like a Lassie is someone that's got a quest from like a summon monster.
Yeah.
I forget the name. Anyway, the Earth part of it. When you do get there, you get a little freedom, which is good. But also, they made another mistake and they tried to drag it out and make it longer, which is the sub-quests you get from these statues. You can't take more than one at once. So you're back and forth, and I don't know if they've done that purposely to try and make it last longer, but it would be way more convenient to have been able to take at least 3 at once and multitask them.
I mean, for me, it's just like you know, it's so on rails. I mean, to be fair, you could say, oh, I like Final Fantasy X, yeah, and that is very much on rails up until you get to commands. But it's different. There's something about that, like, it's a sign of the times to a point, to a degree.
It could be as simple as just the level layouts, though, because
yeah,
in 10, you have an area to explore.
They were
in 11,
on rails
you're
to a
walking
degree,
along
but
paths. They're thin,
yeah,
you didn't have a large area to check out, and, it didn't feel the same
yeah.
in 10. But
It did feel literally like you were running up a road in 13, whereas in 10 it was like, here's a little dungeon. Go explore this little dungeon, come through
work
it.
out some
Maybe there's a
puzzles.
couple of secrets. Yeah, there's some puzzles. The story of 10 is good as well. Like, I would say better than 13. I mean, the voice acting is fucking terrible, but again, sign of the times. But yeah, for me, like, I was having fun, even though it was quite linear 10. I was a little bit disappointed at the time of how linear it is, because for me, that's not what, a core Final Fantasy game is. It's not linear. You should be able to go about and, be open world to some sort of degree. But I was having fun all the way through, whereas 13, I was just bored to tears, and about, I don't know, 60% through, I'd left it for a couple of weeks, and then by the time I come back, it's that whole thing of leaving a game. Everything was gibberish, and I just didn't give it. I just didn't care enough to push through. So I just left it. I just abandoned it. But yeah, so that's one that really disappointed me.
I kind of prided myself on all the Final Fantasies of just doing everything, doing every side quest. But 13, I just completed, and that was it.
Yeah, well, you got a lot further than I did, and it put me off the rest of the franchise. I've not really messed around with any of the others. I mean, Lightning Returns.
That said,
that might be one to pick up one day.
The two later parts of 13 are quite good. 13 Part 2, the mechanics are excellent. It's very good, although the story's not the best.
If I haven't beaten 13 though, because I have no interest of going back, will I be lost in the story if I just went straight to, say, Part 2 or Lightning Returns?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I'd do Part 2 first. You may be lost on Lightning Returns
worth it, though,
if you don't play 2. Excellent.
I still heard that's not
it.
that great.
I really enjoyed it, and I liked 13 Part 3 as well, Lightning Returns. It's weird, but once you get the hang of it, it's very good. The first one was the down point of that set, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it put me on a whole tangent because personally I wasn't super in love with 12. I know a lot of people liked it, but I felt like it was too reactionary to MMOs and the sort. I mean, it wasn't a bad game. There was a couple of standout moments, like I really liked that Fran character, and is it Balthazar? He was alright as well. He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the game, like Final Fantasy, there's always good parts to it, but
that was
the
11,
battle system
I think.
again.
12 was online.
Is it? Yeah. No, 11's online. 11's online.
Okay, then 12. Yeah, in my opinion, that's where it all started to go wrong.
Yeah.
That's the game that started the downward slide.
People like that, and it did have its qualities, but again, I wasn't blown away by that game. And then we got 13, and I was literally just bored to tears with that one. So, But yeah, that's one for me. I thought that was a good one and one worth talking about. The next one is Destiny, and then this might come into expectations and stuff. Maybe I expected too much from it, but I'd heard things about that game for a long time, and it's not that it isn't a bad game. Excuse me, just burping. It's not that it wasn't a bad game, and it isn't a bad game per se. It's just, it's not what I hoped it would be. I hoped it would be this sort of game changer, that it would have some.
There was a whole lot of hype about it that it never lived up to. It's part of my own fault for being on the hype train so much, but it's like I was expecting some sort of major innovation, and I thought maybe it'd come from this whole, online, offline sort of, persistent world thing, like people in your game, people not in your game, emerge between multiplayer and single player, and how all this could pan out, and the story that was non-existent year one, and all them sorts of things. Well,
and that's not.
you got the idea that you could run into other people all the time, but the most people I've ever seen in like one area in one server that I'm on is about four.
Mm,
It's not,
yeah, maybe like 6 or something tops. But
yeah, tops.
it's the thing is, once you've waved to someone a couple of times or done some sort of stupid dance, it's like, yeah, the novelty's worn off. There's nothing to it. You could easily replace that with scripted NPCs, and it
Yeah.
not have made too much of a difference to you.
No,
Not
you wouldn't have
bothered you
missed it.
that much.
How often did you play it and then meet someone and carry on a quest with them? Because I can say that
No,
it's a
but
pretty much never. Once or
almost never.
twice ever.
The only thing that I ever really did with other people was public events,
Yeah.
and that was like a 2-minute thing, and then you go your separate ways.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't really get that much from it. And so basically, also that game had just so many problems year one. It's like I've said before in previous, previous episodes. It would have been a much better game if I'd have come to it a month or two after the Taken King, which they've patched everything, and fixed all their level progression and their light progression and all that sort of shit, and balanced all the weapons, all that sort of stuff. It would have been a much better game to have played through and not had to, like, in the early days, the grind was real. Like, it was fucking real. I'm not saying it's not now, but like,
Yeah.
there was
We
like
gave
seriously,
A
you'd
good
hit a
chunk of life,
roadblock.
didn't we?
You'd hit a roadblock. I played through all of year one. Once you hit a roadblock, like, that was it. You would literally have to grind for like 20 hours just to literally to gain a level or something stupid. You know what I mean? Just to max up your your light levels and your levels and everything. And you'd be like toiling with like fucking blues and just like fucking looking up on the internet all ways to get a
Praying
fucking legendary.
for the purple engrams.
Yeah, and it was a grind, and you'd end up spending hours at loot caves just shooting, bored to tears, just shooting stuff while you're listening to like podcasts or music or something. That's what I'd end up doing. But yeah, so there's two that I think you feel the same with me on both of them ones, Lou. So
I'll go with that. What's Vanessa got?
yeah, you got any ideas?
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure whether people are going to hang me for this, but I was a latecomer to playing Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
I'd heard so much hype about it. There was loads of people that were like, yeah, you've got to go try it. And I just couldn't get into it whatsoever. I don't know whether it was just a bit slow or whether it took a bit long to get in or what, but I was so gutted. Like, I was so pumped up for this game, it's that whole expectation thing again, ain't it?
Yeah.
Everyone had been telling me how so good.
Is it the one where you're a detective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've not. Sorry, Karen.
It's alright, but it's just, I presume it was the expectation thing that, I thought it was just going to be this awesome game from the set out, but it wasn't, and I just had to, like, chuck in the towel, so to speak.
It's so easy to hype.
Go on.
It's so easy to hype these things up in your mind, and it's always going to be better in your mind. That game is kind of almost like a Telltale game, isn't it? Like an early prototype of like a Telltale game in that sort of respect, in the way that you do things. You don't play it, do you? It's like quick time events and choices like that. Like, I've not played it. I've watched playthroughs of it and things, and it appears to me like really janky in certain places, but overall the story's quite engaging. I've not watched like full playthroughs all the way through. I've watched like a couple of playthroughs here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the story is quite engaging, and it's definitely, again, it's like an innovation for its time. It was like, almost like a core Telltale game, like a more grown-up Telltale game, but a prototype of that genre. So there was sketchy elements to it, and it's like I've said to you before, it's a Marmite game. It appears to me. I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, Heavy Rain's all right." I've either heard people say, "I really don't like it," or "I really love it." But you always also hear people say it's a sign of the times. So
yeah, I mean, if the opportunity came up, then I'd quite happily give it a go again. I mean, there's been plenty of stuff that, like, Lou, you've lent me and stuff, and you've said, no, I'm not taking it back, you've got to give it another go.
Sometimes
and I've loved it.
With something, you end up loving it.
Oh yeah. God, yeah, definitely.
But not very often.
No, of course, but yeah, I wasn't impressed. I was quite
It's like we've said before. It's like, you know, back in the day, you'd force yourself through things because that's the only game you're going to have for X amount of weeks, months, whatever.
That's
Yeah.
it. You never had enough money to buy another one.
So
you thought it out carefully.
Exactly. So you persevere through with these sorts of things, and then you would have a much more balanced reason as to why you did or didn't like something. Whereas these days, there's so many other options and distractions. It's like so much easier to.
I've become such a princess with games. If I don't like them in the first hour, slam it. I don't care. Go trade it in. Get something
I wouldn't
else.
say the first hour, but yeah, I'd agree with the princess thing. I'm such a princess with games too. So.
That's a lot of ways.
But yeah, like I think it's the same sort of thing. It's like a couple of hours. It's like I was saying with The Last of Us last week or whatever. You know, now that I played it a little bit more, and Louise share played with me, and I started to enjoy it a bit more. I started to get into it like a bit more. I'm still not blown away with it, but I'm engaged with it more. I want to, you know, I said I was going to play through and beat it, and it's the same sort of thing. It's like I've forced myself to persevere through it, so I'm getting more out of it. I think by the end of it, I'm probably going to have enjoyed my experience. Again, I don't think I'm going to be blown away, but I think because I persevered through, I'm going to enjoy it. You know, I'm going to get something out of it. So I think it's
satisfied that you did it.
a similar sort of thing with that aspect. So, but yeah, have you got any ideas, Lou? You said you jotted a few down, or have we come to the same conclusion?
I said 2 of the same ones that you did.
Yeah, I thought we might have some crossover there.
There's a couple of others I'd mention. Hitman Absolution made me cry.
Which one's that? It didn't literally.
Is that the right
cry.
one? No. Well, inside, deep inside. It's not the current one. It's the one before.
The one before, yeah.
I think it's called Absolution.
Yeah.
That made me so sad.
Yeah. My memory of Hitman's just disappeared after Blood Money. Which one's Blood Money?
The third.
One. Yeah. Is this the 4th one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they changed it so that you were moving through areas rather than the classic sandbox. You're in an area, you have to work out what you want to do. That was the fun part for me. So now you've got that on a very much smaller scale, just inside like a building or something. How are you going to get through it?
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
It took it away, and you felt rushed. You didn't feel like you could take your time on it. Or, I mean, how I played the old ones, the first time I played a level, I wouldn't do anything. I'd just go and poke about everywhere and see what I could come up with.
You would spend almost like an hour just wrecking, you know, doing reconnaissance, wouldn't you? You'd spend an hour just scooting about everywhere.
And I loved that. That was fun.
Yeah.
What outfits could take you to what areas?
Yeah, like you do a
weird
save.
Items are lying around.
You do a save and then try something out, like poison a food or try a set of clothes and see how that happened. You know whether you could get through a certain area or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And it's not like that. It pushes you from one area to the next, and then there's areas in between where you're just trying to get past cops and things. It's not the same. There were little tastes of it, but I gave it up about 2/3 through. I just stopped caring.
Yeah. I feel the same to a degree. I kind of like after I was saying after Blood Money, I wasn't as engaged with Hitman. I'm interested in when the collector's edition of this new one comes out, which seems like the gameplay's in the right place from what I can tell.
It does look right, but then again, I don't want it spoon-fed to me. I don't want chapters. I'll buy it when it's complete.
So
but I think they've gone back to their roots for the gameplay at least.
So I'll check out the definitive edition maybe. You know, if I've got enough pennies at the time or there's not too many games, you know, confusing me, I'll check it out when the definitive edition comes.
I'm not prepared to give up on it yet. Every franchise is allowed a dud here and there.
Oh yeah, it happens to every franchise.
But hopefully they're back on track. The only thing I hate is the the chapters coming out.
Well, they're going to learn from it one way or another. If it's financially good for them, that's the future of Hitman. If it's not, then they're going to revert to type. So.
Well,
it's the same as when
until they're all out.
It's the same as when like you've got like a boss movie or whatever, and then they try and bring out a sequel, and then they try and bring out another one. And do you know what I mean? Like they just try so hard to kind of like better it that they actually.
Games are a little bit different with that respect, as sequels are can quite often be better than films, whereas better than the original game. Whereas with films, the sequels are almost never better. You know, it's very rare that the sequels are better.
Is it? Yeah, the odd exception,
but with games, it's you know, sequels like often tend to be better. Not always.
Yeah.
But you know.
But it's like often. It's a game that was left for quite a while, weren't it?
Yeah.
And then they've tried to kind of. Oh, all right then. It's all right. Okay. How about when? How many remakes do you know of films that are good?
Yeah, not many.
0.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's certain circumstances, but they're only good after a long period of time's passed. Like, and it's usually more their spiritual successors, not direct successors. Like things like I Am Legend was based on something like Omega Man, and I think it's called Omega Man, something like that. I Am Omega or something fucking weird. And you see that film, it's like a 70s sort of, you know, or like there's this, you know, it's almost like a blaxploitation film or something. It's not, it's a bit cheesy. It's not the greatest film ever, you know, so, or like a B movie. But then, but with something I Am Legend, then it suddenly gets, you know, revamped and it can be better. But that's what I'm saying. I think it needs a massive space in between to do that. So, but yeah. Anywho, I think. Oh, have you got another?
Not really. The other one was just a small thing, really. It's not exactly a disappointment because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But GTA 5, I can't complete it. I've tried it twice. I've got halfway through, and somehow my attention's wandered twice.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it at the beginning, but for some reason I can't complete that game.
I haven't completed that game either. That's a similar sort of thing with me.
Something happens around the midway point that just makes me get bored.
I think what happened for me was all the money started to become a thing, and I stopped playing it for a while to look up how to maximize my profits on the stock market and everything. And then I sort of left it for a few days, and then, like, you know, because I was just checking research and stuff, because I didn't want to get too far ahead and then not make bank, because there's really good ways to make shit tons of money. And then other things popped up, life got involved, maybe other games, and it just dropped off, and I just didn't get back into it. So
so I wouldn't call it a disappointment. It's good.
No,
but
it is good.
There's something wrong with the pacing. Middle to kind of 3/4 through.
You're engaged. Well, at least for me,
interest.
The engagement sort of dropped off. It's not that it was bad. It's like for me, it's a better game than GTA 4, which I beat. So. But
I've completed a lot of the others, but yeah, I don't know. Not a disappointment, but a question mark. I
think that thing where you can switch between characters is a bit of a gimmick. What they should have done is grown a pair of balls and just made Trevor the main character. That's what they should have done. Because
I tell you what.
He's the most interesting.
Speaking of Trevor, I don't know if you've been following Walking Dead, but did you see Trevor in The Walking Dead?
I'm not all caught up, but I heard literally today actually that Trevor was in The Walking Dead. So.
Don't tell me anything about the last episode.
I'm not going to. But as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And he looks the same and acts the same. Well, almost the same.
I've seen him
I don't know about
not real
his
life,
tendencies.
Yeah,
I've seen it was brilliant. I enjoyed it.
I've seen him in some Corridor Digital videos, and he looked just like these. Well, not just like, because that's very unflattering. Let's say a handsome version of what Trevor really looks like, you know. So, but yeah, it's pretty cute. Anywho, I think we've covered that topic succinctly. I can't say that word, succinctly. Whatever the fucking word is, we've covered that topic
successfully.
Yeah, that'll do. Let's move on to the next topic.